However, the final language of the Product of USA label has the Canadian cattle and hog industries concerned. Joining us now for that side is Real Ag Radio's Lindsay Smith. Lindsay, good to have you with us. So what's the feedback from Monday's announcement?
Well, certainly, and as we just heard, from an American perspective, it sounds pretty good. From a Canadian perspective, though, we have a fully integrated hog and cattle system. And the Canadian side, well, we're not necessarily as thrilled as the restrictive labeling, while voluntary, potentially could result in major losses for the protein value chain, not just here in Canada, but of course in the U.S. as well, as there will be added costs for higher transport, less efficiency, and if segregation of cattle or hogs has to happen, that adds significant costs to the processing system.
Right, so that puts a huge burden there on the Canadian hog and cattle sectors, right?
Well, for sure, and also the U.S. system. Cattle that are born in Canada often end up fed and slaughtered and processed in the U.S., and vice versa. We have a very open border for cattle, especially to move north and south. And so certainly, having to segregate potentially if a processor is going to use this label would mean slowing that all down, added paperwork, and, potentially some trouble sourcing animals that meet this requirement.
So any idea what happens next?
Well, so we know that, the hog industry especially is interested in this. We have, just one province in Canada supplies over 3 million hogs to the U.S. The cattle side, of course, estimates that during mandatory country of origin labeling that we had before, it cost the industry about $1 billion per year. So certainly this isn't something that our Canadian government or our industries are going to necessarily just sit back and not have discussions about. We did hear from Dennis Laycraft. He's the Executive Vice President of the Canadian Cattle Association. He said that certainly they're going to be working with their U.S. and Mexican counterparts to try and navigate what this new rule might mean. Of course, it doesn't come into effect until January 1 of 2026. So there is some time, of course, for the industry to adapt and figure out what this might look like once implemented.
Right. Anxious to see how all that plays out on both sides of the border. That was Real Ag Radio's Lindsay Smith. We appreciate your time today. And this Real Ag Radio update brought to you by Heads Up Plant Protectants. You can go to headsupst.com for more information on their product line. And you can catch Real Ag Radio, which airs at 4:30 p.m. Eastern weekdays on Rural Radio, channel 147 on Sirius XM. And we will visit with them again tomorrow here on Market Day Report.